Om Shanti. So, good morning. Welcome all of you again to the English Avyak Murli Reading Club. We have been revising since yesterday the Murli of 12th of November 1992. And as all of you know, Baba spoke about self-sovereignty, Swarajya Dhari and Swarajya Adhikari. Both we had discussed yesterday, and how Baba mentioned that the basis of the world future or rather future world sovereignty is now the confluence age self-sovereignty. We went on to mention how then someone becomes a Maharaja, Maharani, that means a great king for half a cycle, and how someone just becomes a single crowned king of the state. Then Baba spoke about Rajyoga, that Rajyoga is the subject, is basically the study whereby you become a Raja, not a Praja Yogi. Excuse me. And then we discussed in detail yesterday about how our subtle sense organs, mind, intellect, and sanskars work. And Baba is asking us that none of them should be deceiving you. And more important, we spoke about the intellect in detail. So today we'll move on to the second part of the Murli. I'll share the screen. Here you go. So throughout the whole world cycle, would there be such a father whose every child is a king? It's a great thing, right? Even Lakshmi and Narayan cannot be like that. It's only God. The Father says that every child of his is a king. In the world, people say that their child is a king. Raja Beta is coming further. But he might become anything. Though they say he's my Raja Beta in the Lokik world, people say that. He might even become a servant or something else, but he would still be called a Raja Beta, a child king. However, at this moment, you are Raj Yogis in a very practical way. That is, you have become kingly children. It's a very odd word. As Baba says, godly children. So this is kingly children, or maybe royal children would be a more appropriate word. Or the king's children, that way. So the father has this intoxication. Baba has this nasha. And the children also have this intoxication. So what is the system of self-sovereignty? System means niti. As we spoke, the Hindi words are niti for system, customs, traditions. So the system is to rule the self, which means to have a right over every physical organ. It shouldn't be that you did not wish to see something, but that you still saw it, that your eyes were open, and so you saw it, that the ears do not have any doors, and so the conversation went into your ears. We have 2 years. It reminds me here of how one of our additional administrative heads here, Santosh Didi, she says very nice. Do kaan hai na? 2 years, right? Do kaan. They are my dukan. Dukan means in Hindi shop. Okay. So I have to make sure that the shutter of the shop is always closed. The doors or the shutter here. Because though we say that the most important, the ones who deceive organ, the physical organ is the eyes, but after that is the ears. So something which we see, it goes inside and it triggers our intellect. Same thing, something which we hear from outside also triggers our intellect. So दुकान बंद करो, दुकान बंद करो या दुकान बंद करो, right? So if you hear something, there's also a way to let it out. And therefore that special image has been created in Bharat in memory of Bapu Gandhi. See no evil, hear no evil, or speak no evil. So they show only three things, whereas you show four things. And the most important fourth one is do not even think evil. And again, here it reminds me of our dear Nalini Didi. She was from Ghatkopar. The ones from Mumbai would know about her. She was the Ghatkopar subzone in charge, and it was her photograph in the yagya. And Baba asked her to take this photograph showing all these three aspects. Like they show a monkey normally, but it is Dadi, sorry, not Dadi, Didi, Nalini's photograph. See no evil, hear no evil, and speak no evil. So do not even think evil, because first you think of something and then it comes in your other sense organs. Then you speak of it, then you see it, dash dash, you speak of it. Therefore, you should have controlling power and ruling power. And here Baba speaks about these two powers now. So he's explaining it in subtle, that to be a king means to have ruling power. If someone is a king and does not have ruling power, who would accept him as a king? So, self-sovereignty means ruling power and also equally controlling power. Babdada also told you earlier that some children are very clever in discriminating. When they make a mistake, when something is not according to the system, they understand that they should not be doing that. That is not true, that it is not accurate, that it is inaccurate and wasteful. But even whilst understanding this, they still continue to do it. So what would you call this? Which power is lacking? And this here comes the second power. There is no controlling power. So ruling power means how to rule your sense organs, what they should be doing, what to look at, what to think, what to hear, so on, what to speak. That's ruling. And controlling is what I am not supposed to do, which means wasting time, thinking inaccurate, all that. Do I understand that I should not be doing that, but I'm still doing it, which means I have no control. So it is just as when people drive a car these days, they are very aware that there's the possibility of an accident happening, and so they try to apply a brake. However, if the brake does not function, there would definitely be an accident, wouldn't there? So, Baba is speaking about the brake here. They have a brake, but if it is not powerful, or if instead of applying it here, they apply it elsewhere, then what would happen? They would become out of control for that length of time, would they not? Even while wanting to do so, they are not able to do it. They are not able to apply a brake, or because the brake isn't powerful, they are not able to apply it correctly. So one is applying it on time when needed, and second is applying it appropriately or correctly, properly. So check this. See, when your Baba is very simply explaining, like he's explaining a small child. See, when you are going up a steep hill, what is written on the signs? There is a sign saying, check your brakes now, because the brakes are the means of safety. So similarly, controlling power is nothing but like applying a brake. It does not mean that you apply it here and it works after some distance. So some try to control something wasteful. They think that something is wrong. The wrong should be changed into right instantly. So this is called controlling power. It shouldn't be that you waste half an hour thinking and that there is then control after half an hour. I actually was wondering what is the difference between these two powers. So I'm so thankful to Baba. He's explained this in detail. So ruling power is the art of ruling your sense organs, but people confuse it. They say art of controlling. No, ruling power is you're a king and you need to know how to rule your sense organs. Physical, subtle. And controlling power means simple control. Remember a car and a brake. So how to apply a powerful break, not even just a break, because I should apply it and instantly it should work. So this is called controlling power. So again, it should not be that you waste half an hour thinking and then that there is then control after half an hour. So if you made a lot of effort for half an hour and transformation took place afterwards, that is not called controlling power or ruling power. It means to be a little subservient with a few rights, so it is mixed. So you're not a Swarajya Adhikari, a full Swaraj. Sampurna Swarajya Adhikari is not there. It's Apurna or Alpakal. Baba says, no, Alpa means in Hindi, sorry, Alpa means help means little. So Baba says, if you're having a little power here, controlling and ruling whatever, you will get only a little over there, which means you will come in the golden age accordingly. You will not come from day one. Or if your effort is not so good, accordingly, the number of years where you will be having world sovereignty will be less, depending upon what we do in this. So it's a mixed. You don't want mixed. Or maybe if my effort is really not so good, I may directly jump into coming into the silver age, directly -8 births. Well, anyway, I don't think anyone of would be that. That's too harsh to say also. But in the golden age, maybe the status, the pad would be less, first thing, and also we will come a little bit late, not from day one. So, because if you're a little subservient with only a few rights. So, would you call that being a world sovereign or being an effort maker? So now, don't be an effort maker and be a master of the self. And this is the elevated pleasure of being a self-sovereign. Beautiful word, self-sovereign, Swarajya, and elevated pleasure. It's Sreshta. I don't know what to call pleasure as. Well, so elevated means Sresht, and Sresht Khushi kaho ya Sresht Nasha, intoxication of being a Swarajya Adhikari. So he's explained so much in detail the two powers, controlling power and ruling power. So controlling power is applying the brakes, powerful brakes, and ruling power is ruling over the sense organs, physical and subtle equally. Then Baba says, is going on to say now to be a self-sovereign means to stay constantly in pleasure, sada khush. Those who stay in pleasure are never confused about anything. Yeah, the word which Baba uses in Hindi is mauj because it rhymes with the word confused. Confused means moonj in Hindi or Urdu rather. And mauj also in Urdu means to be happy and pleasure. So Baba says mauj mein ho ya moonj mein ho. And Baba is an ocean. Mauj ka sagar hai ya moonj ka sagar hai. I'll explain this, not explain, I'll share one of my experience here related to this Mauj and Moonj. Let me finish the Murli first. So, those who stay in pleasure are never confused about anything. See, if you're confused, you're not enjoying yourself. And don't, people say, oh, no, no, I'm enjoying, but I'm a little bit confused. No, it can be only one thing at one time. You can't do both the things together. Like Nishchay, when we say faith, it has to be complete faith always. You can't say, I have 50% faith, Baba. No. If you're having 50% faith, means you're having zero faith. It's an all or none phenomenon. It can be either faith or no faith at all. So at the confluence age, there is nothing but pleasure, only Mauj hi Mauj. And there's a song in Punjabi, remember, Mauja hi Mauja, if people remember, a Lokik song, I think of Daler Mehndi. So there is nothing and nothing but pleasure at the confluence age. Or is there pleasure for you only sometimes? Are the Shaktis and Pandavas experiencing pleasure? So do you understand what the systems of self-sovereignty are? and what the systems of world sovereignty are. Again, the niti. Swarajya Adhikari ki niti and Vishwarajya Adhikari ki niti. So whether subjects or the royal family, the subjects are not subjects. Subjects are also of the one family. So even if you're becoming a praja, it's basically there is oneness in the golden age. Baba says everything ek rajya, ek dharam, ek bhasha, ekta, so on. Ek dharam is one religion. Ek bhasha is one language. Ekta is unity. Ek mat is just following the dictates of one, that is the one royal king. So they are also of the one family. So the governing system of the golden and the silver ages is the system of a family. And remember here, it's very beautiful that Asha Didi explains this very nicely because I had never heard that before listening to her. She says Baba comes and establishes three things. We know it is three religions. That is the Brahmin religion, the deity religion, and the, what do you call that, warrior religion. Brahman, Devta, and Kshatriya. He establishes those three religions we know. But Baba establishes three things. One is, um, it is the kul, that is family. That's what Baba is speaking about. Second is the dharam, the three religions. And third is the kingdom. So what do you call in kingdom in Hindi? Rajai. Right? So it's Rajai, it's kul and dharam. So Baba establishes these three things. So the governing system, the niti of golden and silver ages, is a system of a family. Even though the king is called the king, he has the form of being a supremely loving father. The governing system of the kingdom therefore works as a family in the first half of the cycle. Even though all the different activities of the kingdom are in the hands of different people, everything is carried out so smoothly with love of a family. It isn't that a king has a lot of wealth and prosperity and that the subjects do not even have enough food or drink. No. So even we say, Baba says the Das Dasi, which means not the subjects, that subjects is Praja. Das Dasi is nothing but the maids and the servants in the royal family. Even they have their own mahal. They have their own palace, a smaller one though, but they have everything. Sab sukh suvidha ke sadhan sabko hai, which means all the facilities for being happy, all those facilities are present to everyone. Literally everyone, be it a king, queen, a great king, queen, great queen, Maharaja, Maharani, Lakshmi Narayan, others, or even the lowest in the subjects. So the governing system then later of the copper and iron ages is that everything is according to law and order. But at the time of world sovereignty, at the time of deity sovereignty, these are the systems that continue. So once uh, when we say the world cycle moves, when the copper age begins, then everything Baba says works according to law and order. What does this mean? That in the first half there's no law and order? No. Everything moves according to law and order means your karma philosophy starts here, which means whatever. Uh, Let me first explain golden and silver. So, golden and silver, Baba says, your actions become neutral, which means karma, whatever you do, karma, it becomes akaram, neutral karam. You don't get the fruit, you don't reap the fruit of that. Whilst from copper, the first day onwards or the first breath onwards, when we start breathing the vicious air of the copper age, whereby what has happened, the first vice which has entered is body consciousness, and you start having a little bit of impurity in your thoughts first. And the thought could be, oh, why am I? It could be either a thought of superiority complex or inferiority complex. Comparison may start appearing that why am I poor if someone is poor, or why am I a subject? Or someone could have a superiority that why am I am much more beautiful than than the other person. So like that, comparison seeps in, viciousness comes in, and impurity sets in. And so, according to that law and order, so then your Vikaram starts happening. From Karam, it becomes Vikaram. But at the time of world sovereignty, which is when you are a Vishwarajya Adhikari in golden and silver, the deity sovereignty, Devi Swarajya, that time the Niti is different. So there isn't law in golden and silver age because the whole system functions with law, love, and relationship. So there's loveful, not lawful. Whereas lawful starts happening from copper age. And you remember, uh, in confluence age, it is both loveful and lawful. And remember, Didi Manmohini, they say, was more of lawful, while Dadi Prakashmani was more of loveful. Oh, I forgot to mention today is 29 July, so it is also the Guru Purnima, which is it's an auspicious day in the uh, Hindu calendar. Okay, so the further we go, that there isn't law in the first half because the world system there functions with a lot of love and relationship. None of the souls even know the word sorrow. As we say, Ichha Matram Avidya, uh, also Dukh Matram Avidya. You don't know what is a desire and you don't know the word sorrow. Doesn't exist there. So whether one is a king or a subject, there is no mention or trace of sorrow or peacelessness. They are totally ignorant of what sorrow is because they do not have any knowledge of it. Similarly, at the present time, at the time of self-sovereignty, what system does Bab Dada use with you? At the confluence age now. Swarajya. Baba uses love and Shrimat. You can say Sneha, Prem, whatever, and Shrimat. So if you continue to follow Shrimat, there is no need to give any strict orders. But when you forget the principles, you're making yourself move along with iron-aged principles. So the principles of world sovereignty are very lovely because there isn't variety. There is just oneness, one kingdom and unlimited treasure. Even the subjects there will be so prosperous that they have even more than the multi-millionaires of today. There you are. Baba has already nailed it. That even today's multi-millionaires, whoever's name you want to take from India or from the world over, they are nothing in front of the golden aged subjects also. There will be no mention or trace of any lack of attainment. However, what is the basis of all this? Self-sovereignty. Swarajya Dhari and Swarajya Adhikari. So with this, I'll stop sharing the screen and we'll take a minute in silence. I thought I'll just quickly share that story, which I'll just go further up and then we'll move in silence. It's about Moj and Moonj. So this happened once I was just taking a class somewhere in Gurgaon, Delhi. So the class got over and there was a very senior mother. Uh, you can say she had just retired now. So you can guess the age of that mother. And she was a BK, a Pakka BK. So she said, it was a question answer session. So I asked anyone has any questions. So she said she immediately stood up, popped up, and she said, I have a question. I said, yeah, please go ahead. So she said, can you tell me one thing, something very basic? I said, tell me what happened. So she said, can you tell me the first day of the lesson it is, I mean the Raj Yoga course, is the soul, uh, is the mind in the soul or vice versa, or the soul in the mind? I said, excuse me, why is there so much of confusion, moonj, here? You should be in Moj. Why is there confusion? She said, no, I've heard someone's class and they have put it the other way around. So I said, okay, forget the class of that person. You just tell me, what do you feel? What is, according to you, the understanding of Raj Yoga when you came into knowledge, maybe 20, 30 years ago? She said, no, no, I'm very much confident and I have a lot of faith that the soul is having the faculty as a mind. So the mind is in the soul, not the soul being in the mind. So I said that it is clear. Listen to Baba. Baba is a ocean of moj, ocean of pleasure, ocean of happiness. Why do you want to listen to anyone's class and get so damn confused? She said, oh, okay. So that's there you are. So, I mean, nowadays in the Brahmin world also, there are so many people all over. I think it's very dangerous if you are enjoying just someone's knowledge, knowledge sharing, because people say, yeah, we get a lot of churning points. But okay, when will you start churning yourself so that you yourself listen to, say, Avyak Murli, for example, and churn it yourself, take out your points. Why do you want to be dependent on someone else's churning? Because then, if that person who's understanding according to his level of intellect, his or her, anyways, both ways, that means I'm becoming a follower of his, and I will come in as a subject praja in his kingdom. I don't want to happen that. I have to come in the royal family. I have to become a Raja myself. So therefore, it's very important that we don't fall under this lagav, jhukpav, prabhav, and dabav. These four words we call in Hindi. Lagav is liking someone a lot. Jhukav is getting influenced by someone. Prabhav is again being under someone, that I'm always getting attracted by this so and so person, or distracted, both ways. I don't like someone, I really like someone a lot. And the last is tanav. Dabav. Dabav means being under pressure, and all this leads to tanav, which is stress. So to be careful about that. So it reminded me here, I told her, be in your own masti. Baba is an ocean of pleasure. Don't get confused, because he's not the ocean of confusion. We bodily beings can create confusion, but not Baba. Okay, so I'll stop sharing. We'll take a minute and you all can start sharing your. Thanks.
Om Shanti, Manoj Bhai. So Baba is talking about the controlling power and the ruling power in this today's part of the Murli. So, yes, of course, we need the controlling power on our sense organs and the subtle organs, and ruling power
Oh,
on
again,
these,
yeah, there we always
ruling
get
power,
confused. Yeah.
controlling power on the putting full stop to the waste and the negativity. Yes. So, yes. And the some of the things that Baba mentioned about the when it comes to the ruling power, right? So when we rule over the sense organs, especially the eyes, ears, and all that you mentioned. So eyes is okay when something that which is not happening, we can close the eyes, and that way we can uh, rule, right? And also, yes, when we are deeply focused on something inside, then we won't see something that which is happening, right? Though we see it, but mentally we don't take it inside. And the ears is like it is Baba mentioned that there's no door to close it, so it becomes really difficult, right? When others are talking, and one way we can pay attention to something else and then try to divert it, but still, if they are, talking in a loud voice, then of course you will hear it. But yes, when we have, to some extent, when we have the ruling power or the controlling power, right, we should be able to divert our mind using engaging ourselves in some sort of a churning, I guess, right? Then when we busy doing that churning, and then I think to some extent we won't be able to listen to that conversation, right? So I think not listening, being in the midst of some conversation, I think it's really a challenge. I don't know how we can do that. Okay. And yeah, and another way I heard this that having observing silence, silence of the eyes, silence of the ears, and silence of the body. Silence of the ears means not seeing only what is required to see. Silence, not seeing anything which is not related or what something that we don't have to see. Um, Silence of the ear is keeping your ear silence where you don't let any other noise to go in. And talking, that is very easy, but I'm trying to see how this can be brought into our practical life. Hearing, especially. Yeah, over to you.
Yeah, so both these are different words, hearing and listening. So we would be hearing because hearing is always at a casual level. So I'm crossing, say, and I heard. Oh, therefore we say overheard. Rumors are overheard. We never say over listened. But what is listening? Listening is at a very deeper level, whilst hearing is at a very superficial level. So listening is with a lot of understanding, with uh, hearing is just totally, I mean, at superficial means I'm not able to comprehend what's going on. I've just heard something. So Baba says sunna but nahi sunna, which means you will be hearing things, but let that not affect you. If it has gone inside and it has started affecting my intellect, as we discussed yesterday, more than the mind, the intellect, if it affects, then uh, I'll generate a lot of waste. And then it shows my controlling power, my powerful break is not powerful enough. And listening is something, yes, we say we listen to the Murli, we don't say we hear the Murli, no. Listening to Murli is because Murli is something as a Mahavakya. It's coming from Baba, the Supreme Soul. We have to understand it, we have to churn it, so it has to really seep in within. It has to go deep inside, and it is with all the sense organs. It is not through the superficial apparatus of the ears. It is through your mind, intellect. You listen to them and then you churn it so much that it becomes a form of you. You become an embodiment, and then your sanskar starts changing. So, like something which I would like to relate here when I say listening is listening to the Murli. Whereas hearing is something casual of the worldly thing, and we can't really close our ears and move along. Something or the other will go into our ears, but we should make sure that it doesn't affect my stability. It doesn't affect me from inside and make my intellect wander and move. So that's the thing. And Baba again says for the eyes, dekhte hue nahi dekhna. So obviously I can't move around patti bandh ke. I can't have blinds on my eyes and move around. No, I have to move in this world and I have to do my work in this world. So seeing but yet not seeing, which means again, let not be my intellect and mind be affected by what I'm seeing. So that's the thing, and that's an art. We need to develop that.
Yeah, so yeah,
Mm.
again, yeah, physical eyes and physical ears can
Yes.
hear it, but internally there shouldn't
Yeah.
be any
Not getting
churning
affected
happening.
by them. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, makes sense, yes. And yes, the controlling power, again, that's really interesting. So Baba says that we need to put a full
Powerful break.
stop. Yeah, powerful break means there shouldn't be any delay,
Controlling. Yeah.
right?
Hmm.
Yeah,
Delay
because
is danger.
Baba
Therefore, they say.
delays, yeah, danger. So that's why Baba said when you are driving a car, even if you put apply a brake, that should stop right there. If it,
And so we also have experienced all of this that obviously it doesn't happen on day one, and we apply it, it happens only after some time. So we are in the waste mode for a while. But now that waste mode, also the amount of time we are in that waste has started decreasing. So it won't happen in a second like that, full stop we'll apply. But yes, the amount is much better than before. The time which I spend in waste, each to his own again. So that has started coming down.
Hmm.
Mm.
I think, yeah, this is working. But yes, like Baba said, sometimes there is a delay that
Mm.
transforming, right? That happens. I think it depends on the situation, or maybe um, as we progress, there'll be improvement, putting the full stop right there. And no other thoughts on that. Okay. So that is the difference between effort maker and being a self-sovereign, right? Self-sovereign means you put a full stop right there, you stop. And effort maker means then there'll be a delay, I guess. Okay, thank you.
Shanti Bhaiji. I was chatting on similar lines around the controlling part and ruling part. Bhaiji, I wonder the special children and those with autism, does the Raja Yoga have any impact on their ability to control their activity, their mind, or their bodies? If they are given this knowledge that you are a superior energy, who would be controlling actually your mind, intellect, and sanskars, and in turn, what they are the ones which will run the body? Any studies or any insights into this?
Yes, yes, absolutely. So there are no such official studies of Raj Yoga directly relating to autistic kids, or we call it ASD, autism spectrum disorders. So it's not about direct studies we have, but autism and all these group of disorders. So to explain it very simply, so that everyone can understand, not very medical terms, we have ADHD. ADHD is a very subtle form of autism spectrum disorder. ADHD stands for attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. So these kids are having deficit of attention. You tell them to concentrate on one thing, they are not able to do. And why is that? Because they are in a hyperactive mode always. Their mind is really thinking, it's a fast thinking mind. So what we need to help them is we need to calm down their mind. So yes, initially we have to give them some pills to make their mind calm. And then if we can teach them Raj Yoga, nothing like it. And along with that, we have to make sure that we do preventive aspects. So Raj Yoga is a form of therapy and prevention both. Whereas prevention would be like nowadays in this day and age of smartphones, we call the screen time. All of you know this word, that how much is my screen time? And we see when we tell the parents that start getting down their screen time from say 4 hours, 3, 2, 1, whatever, and then make it zero as well. And children who are off smartphones, who get rid of their smartphones, they really do very well. And then if you can add Raj Yoga into that, it is like icing on a cake, or Sone Pe Suhaga, which means it will be fantastic. It will be a boon for the kid. And I have a few kids where the mothers do feel there's a lot of difference in Raj Yoga. I mean, when they do Raj Yoga. But remember, an autistic child, directly you can't teach Raj Yoga because you need the mind to be stabilized. To understand the depth of Raj Yoga, you need your mind to be a little bit stable, a little bit intelligent in that way. Because when we say ASD group of disorders, the intellect here is at fault. It is not really doing what it is supposed to do. And the most important two powers of the intellect are the power to discern and the power to make decisions or judge. All those are affected in these children. So we have to get obviously an expert assessment by those people who they deal with them in mental health disorders. But once they are on some medication, they are a little bit calm and composed, and then they are able to accept, or they're able to understand the knowledge, then they can do meditation. But direct giving meditation will not be of any help. On the contrary, if I tell someone who's disturbed inside, whose mind is so disturbed, and I tell him, sit down, concentrate, be calm, he can never become calm because it's not the way to do that. So it's only for a stable and a calm mind, which is stabilized through medication. Obviously, we need some medication, then we can try. Again, I'm using the word try here because it's not foolproof. It's not the way. Raj Yoga is not the way for such disorders. But yes, ADHD, attention deficit and hyperactivity disorders, and one more. In psychiatry, we have these two big disorders, we call it uh, anxiety neurosis and psychosis. So anxiety neurosis is like we have panic attacks in that, or someone who's got hysteria, or someone who's got a lot of anxiety again and again. So for anxiety, Raj Yoga is the solution. But for psychosis, which means when someone is depressed, schizophrenic, we say na in Hindi, ye pagal hai and all that, a very routine term people use. So those people have lost their ability to be in touch with the reality of life. Those are the psychotic disorders. So those people need a proper assessment by a psychiatrist, approved mental health expert. They will see them, starts them on some medication like antipsychotics, antidepressants, get their hormones inside in the neurotransmitters in the brain to a normal level. And once their overthinking stops, they have come down to a little bit of normal thinking process. They have come in touch with the reality of the world. Then we can introduce Raj Yoga to them. Right? So it's a little bit complex, but nevertheless it works. Okay.
Thank you, Balaji.
Thanks. Okay, it's 5:43. Sorry, a big discussion we had on psychiatric disorders. Anything else quickly? Last sharing. Okay. So if not, we'll spend a few minutes in silence and then exit. Thank you. Om Shanti. Thank you.
Thank you to Baba. Thank you, Manoj Gauri. Thank you, Divine Family. See you tomorrow at 5 a.m. Until then, have a lovely day.